Hello, good ones. Today, we'll be looking at poetry number 51 with the title, If I rub it in and you rub it in, the effect will be greater. So, synergy exclaims. The following story clarifies. Mr. Osonoba was in his office when his closest friend, Emmanuel Okpatsa, paid him a visit. As they conversed, his friend asked him suddenly where his daughter Amina was. Amina was in a boarding school about 100 miles away. Of course, he replied. Why did he ask? His friend smiled and said he would advise him to be sure his daughter was truly in school at that time. Could he call the school authorities now to know whether his daughter was really in school? Mr. Osonoba could hardly conceal his apprehension. What was his friend trying to say? Better, he came out with it quickly. Yet his friend was not to be hurried. He insisted that his body found out for himself. With trembling hands, therefore, Mr. Osonoba called the head of the St. Mary's Senior Secondary School at Efiduase, the town where the school was situated. The headmistress said she was not sure and would check up. At the end of it, the housemistress of Amina's school house told the headmistress that Amina had presented a letter from her dad, which asked her to come home to meet his father's younger brother, who had lived in the United States for the past 20 years and would return that very weekend. It was a very important family meeting which she was not to miss, as this very uncle was to help her continue her education in the US. Amina was such a good girl that the housemistress said she did not take the needed due diligence to cross-check, so she had been granted permission to leave the school for the weekend. She had therefore been out of the school for 2 days. Mr. Osonoba went livid and with rage. Were they really referring to his saintly Amina of all girls? That was when his friend told him that someone had informed him only that morning that Amina had been spotted deep in the night in the company of a man in a hotel. This was why he had come to verify from his friend. Investigations led to the hotel, but Amina had left that very morning back to school. This perhaps saved her life, for her father had sworn to finish her in the hotel if he met her there. When he returned home that evening, he stormed his wife. "Talk to your daughter," he boomed vehemently. "She will cause me to go to jail for killing human being. Talk to your daughter before I send her to an early grave." Hajia Mrs. Osonoba wished he could stop referring to Amina as hers just because she seemed to have done something wrong. "Why don't you also add your voice?" she asked in her groaning frustration. "I can't talk to her alone. If you can't talk to her, if you can't talk to your own daughter, who else should?" Mr. Osonoba retorted angrily, spun on his heels, and walked off, leaving his wife distressed the more. Did she beget Amina alone? This is one mistake many parents make. After making the babies together, they leave the parenting to one, especially when it comes to raising the girls morally. Many men leave that to the woman alone. Yet in enlightened homes, mommy rubs it in and daddy rubs it in. The effect is certainly better. So, if you contribute and I also contribute, the synergy expands. Let's therefore synergize. Thank you and God bless.